What's up everyone, it's Caddy with MoneyVest. So in this video, I wanted to go over one stock that is coming down to some very attractive levels. This is a stock that, in my opinion, has a lot of potential because of the technical oversold conditions, and it's been selling off quite aggressively. But also fundamentally speaking, it is a company that has a very strong moat and also a very nice recurring business model. And again, just because of the lower guidance, this stock continued to get hammered in terms of its price action. So there could be an opportunity for us. I've done maybe a couple videos in the past on this company, but I wanted to discuss this in more detail. As always, if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please make sure that you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. The first 10-15 days are the best time to join. You can lock in a 51% discount if you're interested in taking advantage of the beta launch that we just had 3 days ago. That's the MoneyVest platform. That's exactly what we're going to be using to analyze this entire company. So link's going to be down below. We'd love to have you on board. So the company that we're talking about today is going to be Ulta Beauty. And Ulta Beauty is a stock that's been just absolutely hammered. It's been selling off from its highs of $574 a share. It's down a little bit over 30%, with the market cap now sitting at just under $19 billion. And we'll come back to the technical analysis because I really want to spend a lot of time on this stock in terms of technicals because of the fact that it's very, very oversold. As you can already see, the RSI, the MACD, everything's been selling off, as you can see over here as well on the weekly time frame. Perfect oversold conditions. It's kind of rounding out in its price action. It's really just been consolidating week after week. So we'll take a look at that and we'll kind of draft a nice plan for this company moving forward. Now, first things first, Ulta Beauty is the largest specialty beauty retailer in the US and premier products when it comes to beauty destinations for cosmetics, fragrance, skincare products, hair products, and beauty services. Founded in 1990s, and they've got over 25,000 products from 600 brands, well-established and emerging beauty brands across all categories and price points, including Ulta Beauty's private label brands as well. So moving forward, they've got a market opportunity of about $112 billion between all the different categories. And their target audience is essentially the beauty enthusiast. And they estimate about 70 million beauty enthusiasts in the United States alone. And this right here, I think perhaps is the biggest opportunity for Ulta Beauty, in my opinion, because they've got 95% of total Ulta Beauty sales are made by Ultimate Rewards members. That, I think, is a huge opportunity. That's a huge moat for the company. As you can see, they've got a very, very premier loyalty program. They've got best-in-the-class loyalty programs where a lot of their members that are part of the loyalty program are actually spending customers. 95% of their revenues are coming from loyalty members. That's a big number. And we've got 43 million loyalty members, millions of members here for Ulta Beauty as of 2023. Providing us with incredible data and consumer insights that we are unleashing as competitive advantage as well. So that, again, is definitely, in my opinion, similar to Costco and how Costco has a loyalty program and membership where a lot of people are spending on Costco that are members. I think Ulta Beauty has a very similar sort of moat in that sense. And I think this number is only going to increase over time as they do see a very big addressable market. And at the same time, if they do expand over to other markets in the world, there's obviously a very big market over here in India for beauty products. Of course, they've got to compare with the prices as well, but they've got that opportunity to expand globally and also continue to increase the millions of members in loyalty programs where most of the revenues, 95% of the revenues, are coming from. Now, coming over to the platform, this right here is going to be Ulta Beauty, a 3.89 out of 5, so scores a really, really high number. And you've got a company that, again, has been consistently growing revenues. If you come over to the annual numbers of the last 20 years, I mean, just take a look at this consistent. This is phenomenal, right? Revenues have been going from about 491 million to well over $11.2 billion. And gross profit has gone from about 145 million to well over $4.3 billion. We did see a little bit of a dip in 2021, but again, that was recovered really well in 2024 with an operating income of 1.6 billion. And again, very nice consistency here from the company, and net income has also gone very well from 71 million back in 2011 to now well over 1.3 billion dollars for the company as well. If you come over to the balance sheet, if you plot for total cash, the company as of, let's see, the last 2024, 89 million. But if you come over to the quarterly numbers, you're looking at the last quarter sitting at $524 million of total cash, with the company practically not having any debt on the balance sheet. So if you come over here, long-term debt was basically zero. Then you have current portion of long-term debt, short-term debt, nothing was there except for some other non-current liabilities, which were obviously sitting at a very high number of $1.75 billion. However, the company still has, of course, significantly more current assets than current liabilities. So current liabilities are sitting at around 1.5 billion with current assets sitting at 2.7 billion. That's been relatively stable and very strong for the company. And then finally, if you come over to total assets, the company's sitting at well over 5.6 versus total liabilities of 3.3 billion. So again, more assets than liabilities, more current assets than current liabilities, and cash is more than no debt, but they do have other non-current liabilities, whatever might that be. We may have to take a look at the 10K to better understand that. Now, in terms of the growth rates, if you come over to the last 7 years, the company has seen some very nice growth. Everything has grown by 12 to 14% on a compounded basis. Earnings per share have grown by 21%. If you come over to the last 5 years, earnings per share has gone up by almost 19%. So this right here has been the increase in the last 5 years. Last 7 years worth of EPS growth has gone from about $8.95 to well over $26 per share for the business. Margins have been expanding except for operating margins and free cash flow margins. And we got efficiency also very, very efficient. And then when it comes to the balance sheet, one thing I will point out is that the inventory as a percentage of assets is quite high at over 30%. And that's something that we may have to look at on the fundamental analysis as well. So if you come over here, we're looking at the last 12 quarters, come over to the balance sheet, look at the inventory, which is over here as a percentage of total assets. So this right here is going to be that number, which again, it's a little bit more stable. They've got about $1.9 billion of inventory versus total assets of $5.6 billion. So I would say that it's, kind of normal. It's stable. It's something that we have witnessed for the company in the past as well. Now, finally, coming over to the balance sheet and the valuation. Now, that's another thing, is the valuation is actually quite cheap. 2024 trading at just over 14 times earnings and a little bit over 1.6 times sales. You can also see that on fundamental analysis under ratios. And again, if you want to get access to this entire platform, do your own fundamental analysis, comprehensive research on every stock out there, 17,500 stocks available. Link's going to be down below. We'd love to have you on board and get your feedback. And there's going to be a lot of other features and functionality that we're going to be adding over time. Price to earnings forward, we're looking at 15. Price to sales forward, we're looking at 1.62. And then price to free cash flow on a trailing basis, we're looking at just under 21. So it's not like it's trading at a super expensive, super crazy valuation either. Analysts are recommending a hold on this stock with a high target of 639. Low target of 353 and an average target of just under $500 with a CAGR on a 5-year basis about 9 to 10% for Ulta Beauty in terms of its growth. Now, so what we figured out right now, 5-year CAGR of about 9.8 to as much as 10%. Last 5 years, if you come over to this discounted earnings model, and if you look at the autofill, last 5 years has been 14% with an expected P multiple. So last 5 years is traded a little bit over 38, but I believe the last 7 years it's traded at a much lower level. So 10 years at 38, we've got 7 years at 36, and then 5 years it's traded at 38. So we're going to be a little bit lower. We're going to go down to as much as 18, and the growth rate is going to be closer to 10%. Share dilution has been very strong. I didn't mention this earlier, but the company's been buying back shares by about 3.7% every single year. That's because it's compounded annual buyback. And if you hit calculate, we're looking at a stock that could be argued is undervalued by 22%. So this is a stock that could be considered from an undervaluation standpoint with a future target price, which is 5 years out, at $948 per share. This is going to be that sensitivity grid and the matrix that you can look at in terms of Ulta Beauty and what that looks like for the long term. And again, based on your different inputs for growth rates and P multiples, your fair value would change. Considering that Ulta Beauty right now is trading at around $396, if you were to, let's say, go down on the P multiple a little bit more at 16 times and a growth rate of 8%, now our fair value is going to end up almost exactly at where the market price is at $393. And I believe that I think Ulta Beauty over the next 5 years can most likely grow at 8% and be trading at a 16 times P multiple for the long term. So that is something to keep in mind. And now coming over to the technical analysis. This right here is the entire technical breakdown. You got a massive support inside this green rectangle. Very, very strong support here for Ulta Beauty in and around that 335 to as much as 375 level. So that $40 range. very strong support. Historically, that's acted as both a resistance, as you can see over here, got rejected back in 2019, massive support once, twice, three times. Every time it kind of validates that support here, and it's now starting to round off. You can see the RSI starting to turn. MACD is almost on the verge of crossing over that signal line. L3 banker oscillator also suggesting for some institutionals starting to step in. And for that exactly reason, we are seeing some institutionals starting to buy as well. So you can see that a number of hedge funds have also modified their holdings on Ulta. Turtle Creek Wealth Advisors bought a new position in the shares of Ulta. Then we got BKM Wealth Management, new position in shares of Ulta Beauty. Vima LLC bought new position in shares of Ulta Beauty. So there's a lot of Vision Point Advisory Group buying in its position in Ulta Beauty by 7,300% during the third quarter. I believe this is from July 9th, 2024. Yes, so again, lots of investors starting to boost their position in Ulta Beauty. And there we go. This investment firm also boosted their position in Ulta Beauty. That is going to be Cavias Estate Steel Peak boosted its position in Ulta Beauty by 25% in the first quarter 2024. So there is possibility for this stock that may be flying under the radar, and it's been selling off, and resistance is going to stay put at $426. Yes, the future forecast came in a little bit weak. The guidance is not that strong. However, I do believe that this could be an opportunity considering how it's trading at a very strong support, and at the same time, based on the analysis that we did, based on very conservative expectations of 8% growth rate and 16 times PE multiple, trades at almost fair value here. And again, feel free to change these numbers, right? So obviously none of this is financial advice, so come over to our platform, moneyvest.com, play around with the numbers, choose whatever growth rates, whatever years worth of analysis you want to do, different P multiples, to figure out whether Ulta Beauty is worth your time and money or not. So links going to be down below. We'd love to have you on board. You can join the entire MoneyVest platform with early access. So support level, roughly around 375 to as low as 335. First target resistance at 427 to as much as 485 to as much as 552 for Ulta Beauty. As always, make sure that you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.